Yeah. So we have a brand new thing here. The things we've added is a leaderboard here, which tells you how many eliminations you and your team has and how much gold you and your team has. The eliminations only count with swords, because making them work with projectiles is a bit more complicated than we can do in this course currently. But you can still whack zombies or players. If you want gold to be harder to get, then just get rid of zombies here. I've got 250 gold. I can give myself a speed boost, and be zooming across the land. And then we've got our crossbow. I think the speed boost actually needs to be reworked. I think I messed that up. And then we've got our sniper tool we can also get if I had enough gold. I'm just gonna have to eliminate this obby trying to attack me. How dare he? Oh, hello, Jonathan. Nice to beat you in like one hit. You ran right into my sword. But when you lose those additional tools, of course, but you still keep your gold. So kamikazing is not the worst idea in the world. So grenade launcher, and I'll take a sniper here just to show off all the new stuff. Boom, and wow, okay. I don't even think I got hit there, but whatever, game. Anyway, so those are our three things. We have our leaderboard, and with the gold in that, we can go to these shops, and with these shops, we can get new items. And yeah, there's the shops, and there is my dead body. So I'm gonna stop screen sharing, and everyone open up Roblox Studio so I can show you guys how to make said things. Royale test and Code Ninjas Roblox Royale. So everyone open up their Roblox Studio. What I was gonna say, before I begin, I wanted to say that we have quite a few people who are a bit behind here. So we're doing a makeup class on Thursday at 3:30. I'll put an announcement in the Google Classroom right after this. But if you're behind, or if you have any additional questions before our last class after our last class on Wednesday, we have a makeup class on Thursday at 3:30. So I'm going to, why in the world? It's only letting me open up one instance of Roblox Studio, and I have no idea why. So I'll just have to show you on the completed project, which is less cool, but it will be quicker this way. So basically, what I was gonna say, we'll just start from the beginning here. We'll look at this in the Google Classroom for this week. We've got, oh wait, do I have people waiting in the lobby? Nope, we're all good. So for the Google Classroom and the assignment, your requirements are write code that adds the eliminations and gold stats to your projects, add code to your sword that gives it the ability to add eliminations and gold to a player's stats. And then for the spice level, the mild is just those two requirements. Medium has everything from mild, and also has a CNP Royale shop that you can buy a tool from. So I added, instead of making these shops, which might take a bit too long, you can go into the toolbox and look at CNP Royale shop if you're going for the harder difficulty here. And then right here, I'll show you how to use these things so you can buy weapons. And then finally, for the hot project, it's everything from a medium project and has, shops where you can buy character upgrades as well. What happened with that line? Let me fix that. Interesting. So yeah, I'll show you guys how to do all those, starting with piece 1, which is our eliminations counter in the top right. So that is called a leaderboard. And to create a leaderboard in Roblox, what you have to do is you have to make a folder with your specific stats in your player. And to do that, all we need to do is put one script in this place called server script service. Could everybody do that real quick? Go to server script service and click add and add a script right here. And I'm gonna name it leaderboard script. Okay, can everyone find server script service here? That's right here. So can everyone see that server script service? Abby, are you good?
Yes, Luke.
Johnny, are you good? Do you have a script you added to here?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Kyle, you good?
Yeah.
Tostin, you're good? I'll be back on that. Anirudh, are you good to go on adding a script server script service? Okay. Max, are you good to go on adding a script to server script service? Did you do that?
No.
Okay. Do you have Roblox Studio open?
Yes.
Okay. Can you go to your server script service and click the plus next to that and click script and name. What are
you talking about?
I'm talking about the thing have you been listening the past few minutes? What I was gonna say. What? No? Okay, so
Where?
Max, we need to go over to the Explorer. There's gonna be something called server script service. If you can find that, and then click the plus next to it. And then add a script, like you did with the teleporters, like with the door, like with the, well, actually we didn't have code on the keys, or the zombie spawners. Just treat it like any object, click that plus and add to it. Anyway, I'm going to show everyone everything at this point instead of doing it with you guys, so in case anyone wants to get ahead, they can. So I'm gonna show everything at once here. Basically, for the leaderboard script, you have to put in a few things. Right here, we're gonna work backwards, where we've got our function, as usual, that you need to connect to a certain event. Jonathan, what's your question?
So for the script,
The server
I know,
script service?
yeah, I know you can rename scripts in the Explorer, like in the top bar, like right above where it shows your creation. How do you rename the scripts up there?
Oh, up here? Well, it's literally you just rename the script itself in the Explorer, and then the name of the ones. Is this what you're calling the top bar, Jonathan, up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so if I name this leaderboard script that's open, I name it Jeffy. Jeffy. Boom, it switched to Jeffy. I'm gonna get rid of the other leaderboard script and name this one leaderboard script, though, because Jeffy doesn't make too much sense. So everyone pay attention here. Don't focus on Roblox Studio. Pay attention. And I'm going to show you everything we're doing in this week and then guide you guys through it as needed. So we have our function as usual. We have to connect it to an event. So in this, for adding our stats, we want a folder of stats for each player. So what we're going to do is game players added. Whenever a player is added, we're going to connect that to this function up here. We actually used this connect event back when we did the key spawners that added a key for each player that came in. So at the beginning of this, what we want to do is we want to create a folder for your stats. And to do that, we are going to call it local leader stats. This is very important that this has the name, leader stats. This name is important. Okay. Otherwise it won't work. It has to be named leader stats in all lowercase. So we're going to create a new folder called leader stats right here. Create a variable and have that be an instance new folder, a new folder. We're going to make its name leader stats, and we're going to make its parent the player. So right now, if I got rid of this for a second and just focused on that, what we'll see is if we go over to the Explorer here, when we load in, if I go to Players, CN Peoria Bender, I have this brand new empty folder called Leader Stats. But we can't do anything with an empty folder. We've actually got to put things in it to make it work. So we're going to create 2 stats for this folder. And one I called elimination count. You can name these whatever you want. And it will be a new int value. And an integer is any number between 1 to infinity that is a whole number. It's not a decimal, because you can't have 1.5 eliminations and you can't have 2.5 kills or whatever. Only whole numbers. So we create, just like last time, we create a variable, an instance new of this integer. Then we set its name to what you want to. Its value is going to start at 0. And then we're going to make its parent the leader stats folder. So all of this will go in the leader stats folder. And then we repeat that process for the gold. We make a gold variable that's an int value. We name it gold. We set it to 0, and we make its parent leader stats. Does anyone have questions on that? No. So what I'm going to do is, real quick, we can see now we've got on leader stats here, we have our eliminations in our gold right here. And if we go to our folder where these stats are, we can actually see eliminations and gold right here. So what I'm going to do now is, for this script, I'm actually going to take it and put it in the Google Classroom, snipping it like so here. So save, what was I going to say? Your stats code. And I will put that in the Google Classroom for you guys. Don't do anything with it yet, because I want to show you guys the next steps before we get to working on that. Okay. Here is the code. Okay. So what server script service is it will run this script whenever the game starts. That's basically what server script service does. So now the stats are all good and stuff, but they're kind of meaningless unless we can make them go up or down or change variations about them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our sword, and we are going to make it so whenever we destroy something with our sword, it will give us money for it. And for this, I will just walk through how this works step by step. The tools are very, very complicated weapons and pieces of code. Like this alone, the basic sword is 250 lines of code long. But you don't have to worry about any of that. The only thing you need to worry about is this section called take damage. And with that, you can press Control and F at the same time and type in take damage, and it will teleport you right there. What we want to do here is right under this take damage, we want to see how this works for a second. We have all these fancy things the sword does with animations, with health, with the player's backpack, but what we're interested in is what happens once the other human takes damage. So at the end of this, if the sword connects, it all goes to this line right here. Humanoid, take damage, and then the damage amount. What we're interested in is this humanoid who was just hit by the sword. And what we're going to ask, and ignore these now commented lines here, if the humanoid's health is greater than 0, then what we want to do is we want to take our eliminations value and set it +1, and we take our gold value and we set it to itself +1. And this, just ignore the other parts here. And we have basically, if the humanoid health is less than 0 when they're hit, then add 1 to the eliminations and add 1 to the gold. I mean, add 50 to the gold. You can add however much you want to the gold. But if you try to put this code in, you'll see you'll get an error because we have to get a reference to whatever our stats are. And to do that, all we need is we need to make a variable called player stats. And this is the complicated part, but it basically takes the sword here. It takes the parent of the script, which is classic sword, and the parent of that, which is the backpack, and the parent of the backpack, which is the player, and in the player, it will find the first child that is named leader stats, which is the name of the folder we made a second ago. And then in that leader stats folder, the first child, we're going to find a child named eliminations, and we're going to find a child named gold. And both of those are the stats we made earlier. And now, using here, we get a reference to all 3 of those. And now if we play the game, and we can test this out on the zombies here, does anyone have questions about that? That seems pretty complicated, but what you have to do is you need to just put the code at the bottom where the take damage is, and code at the very top for those extra variables. Does anyone have questions so far? I know this is mostly stuff Abby and Anirudh, we both ran over in a separate class, but incorporated in a new way. And there's no questions. I just want to show. You'll see here, I took out 1 zombie and I got 3 eliminations and 150 gold. There seems to be a bit of an issue. I have 7 zombie eliminations, but only 5 zombies have spawned so far. And then I just went from 7 to 9. Does anyone know why I'm getting more than I actually took out? Abby.
Because you're touching the zombie the sword is touching the zombie multiple times.
Yes, it is checking if the sword is touching it every frame. And by the time it processes that the zombie is dead, well, that code has already run through a few times and said, okay, its health is less than 0, add an elimination, and then its health is less than 0, add another elimination, and now it's at the point I can't hit it. But there's that tiny period of time where if your sword is still on the zombie, it will count it as multiple hits. And this happens quite a bit in programming, so there's something in programming called debouncing, which accounts for this, which basically, again, ignore how complicated this looks. I'll make it simple. Basically, what it checks is once it adds that value, it's going to wait 1 second, and then after that second is over, it will allow the code to run again. So it only runs once, and then it waits a second, and then it will allow it to run again. So we don't have 10 eliminations the millisecond you hit the enemy. And how that all works is we create a new Boolean called debounce, which is something that is, a Boolean is just a thing that is set to true or false. And we're going to set it to false. You'll see why in a second. And after we check if the humanoid's health is less than 0, what we're going to check is if debounce is true. We started at debounce false, so it's going to ignore all this. And it's going to run through and immediately set it to true. You'll see why in a second. So first time it passed through here perfectly fine because debounce was false. And now it turns on this debounce once it runs through here. Here's where it adds the stats, and then it will wait 1 second and then set the debounce back to false. So basically, when this runs through the very first time, what's going to happen is it's going to set this variable to true, wait a full second, and then set this to false so the code can run again after that. If this hit zombie in the middle of this second here, what would happen is we would be running through all this code, and then the zombie would take damage, and then right here it would say its health is less than 0, but instead of going to give me another elimination for that same zombie, it's going to say that the debounce is true, and it's going to do something called return. And what return does is it just shoots this all the way back at the top again. And it will keep on looping over and over and over again until eventually this wait is over and debounce is set back to false. Once debounce is false again, it can run through the code again. That's a lot to take in, but gist of it is, once the enemy is knocked down, it waits a second before it starts counting eliminations again. And here's the new code or actually I'll just say place under take damage, and then I will say new variables place at top of script. Okay, this code right here, I'm going to actually let you guys copy and paste from the Google Classroom. So you guys can spend more time working on the actual game. Jonathan, what's your question?
I just tried to save, and it said it failed to save. And I tried it like 5 times. And it,
click File, and then click Save to File As, and then save it as something different.
Okay.
What are you doing Roblox Studios? You're supposed to be focusing on this right now. So, here is the additional code you need to add to your sword. So, here's the first part, and then right here. And again, this code does nothing if it has no reference to the variables. So you have to make this code in the server script service first, and then place this code in your sword. I'm going to post that. So step 1 is adding this leader stats function, write it out, put that in the server script service folder, and then copy this top part into the very top of your sword, and then put this right under the take damage function. And that's all you have to do for this week as the base requirements, and you're good to go for this class. Yes, Abby, what's your question?
You do the same thing with the gun? Or the pistol?
No. I searched for several hours, and as it turns out, unless you do some crazy fancy workarounds, you cannot count eliminations with projectile weapons in Roblox. Like, at all. It's a very big misstep of it. You can do a workaround as in, like, in one-on-one battles, if the other person dies, it can detect if the other person dies, then count it for a victory for the only other person there, or you can put unique tags on each of the players and then track those back. But that goes into the 400 to 500 lines of code written out just for the sake of making projectile weapons work. And I figured you guys didn't want to go into all that, but I know you guys wanted the elimination counter. So yeah, that's why it doesn't work for projectile weapons. Other swords and other melee weapons, it works perfectly fine. You can just literally do the same thing here. Place this at the top of script, take this code, place it under the take damage, and you're good to go. But for projectile weapons, that will not work. However, you can't really get gold from a person if they're 30 feet away, so that makes sense partially in the context of this game. And about gold, I'm going to go over the part for a medium and hot project here. This is optional stuff, but if you want to go above and beyond, do this. Instead of having you guys make these shops, I want to give you guys time to catch up, even if you are going for the flaming challenge here. You want to type in CNP Royale Shop. And it's another thing I made here right next to CNP Royale bases. And what this is it is a group of a few things here. We have the buy button, which is this entire thing here, something called a click detector, and surface GUI. If you remember back with this sign over here, on surface GUIs, they are placeholders for text. So if you want to edit the text on that sign or edit the text on this sign, what you have to do is you have to go to shop, surface GUI, and to text label. Abby, what should they be buying here? What's a tool that's cool?
A pistol.
What?
A pistol.
A pistol? Okay. We'll do that. I'm gonna just grab even if it doesn't work here, I'm just throwing an example out here. Pistol. Yeah, we'll just take this one then. A normal pistol. This is called handgun. We'll put that in server storage. And right now, I can go to the text label, and then for text, I can type out where it says put text here. I will say handgun, and how much gold should this cost? Avi, again. Actually, someone other than Avi can tell me how much this handgun could cost.
50 gold.
50 gold. All right, then. 50 gold. And I type that out, and boom, it fits perfectly. And what I was going to say, right now, though, the default for this is 100 gold. So we want to look through the script to figure out how this works and then how to change it for what we need here. So I can go to this buy script and look at that. The wonderful creator put a bunch of comments in here so you guys can know exactly what this means. First, we get our references to two things. The buy button, which is just the parent of this script, this object right here, and the click detector. And what that is it's an object on the button which detects if you click it or not. It's pretty self-explanatory. And we also have another variable called upgrade cost, and this is, guess what? How much the upgrade costs. So instead of 50, I'm going to change, instead of 100, I'm going to change this to 50 because I want the player to spend 50 gold to get this. So right here, we start all this to click detector, mouse click connect, and that's basically saying when the click detector is clicked, run this function. And we're going to print in the debug log down here, someone clicked the button. And in here, we're going to, we have a reference to the player immediately through this function because we know what just clicked it. So we're going to get a player stats, find the first child called leader stats. So the leader stats folder you made. And for player gold, we find the first child named Gold, and we get a reference to the leader stats folder and the gold. Then right here, we're going to check if the player's gold value is more than the upgrade cost, which is a long way of saying, do they have more money than what this is worth? So if it's 50 and the player has 60, this code will run. However, if this is $50 and the player only has $2, this won't run. So if they have enough to buy it, then what's going to happen is they're going to take the player gold value and set it to the player gold value minus however much the upgrade cost. And then this code should look familiar to you. It's simply taking a tool, server storage. What was this tool called now? It was called handgun. So handgun, that's what you want to change right here, is the cost of it and what weapon you're taking from the server storage. Then, just like for other spawners, we make a clone of it and we put it in the player's backpack. And that's it. The important parts here is the upgrade cost and changing the weapon to whatever tool you want it to be. So let's play the game here. And what was I gonna say? Oh, I need a sword in order to go get gold. Grab sword. Gonna whack a few zombies here. This will give me 50 gold immediately. Boom, 50 gold, only one elimination. We don't get all glitchy. And guess how much the handgun is? I click this with an empty hand and bam, we have this. And that's how your spawners work. Finally, if you're going for flaming challenge, you just need to make one little alteration here. See how this says speed boost 20%? What you do right here is, and I don't know why this wasn't working earlier, player character, instead of adding a tool in your buy script here, what you want to do is you want to change an aspect of the player. And to do that, you can just go back to this video, look at this code here. You can do player.character.humanoid walk speed, set that walk speed to your own walk speed times 0.1, which is a fancy way of saying plus 10%. And instead of killing a zombie, one neat thing you can actually do to test is go to your players, go to whatever value you want to change in your leader stats. So here's gold, and give me 1,000,000 gold. Well, that's only 1,000, but I think you get my point. And it should, so that one isn't, oh yeah. For some reason, it does not like you getting gold illegally in this, because it doesn't register properly for the shop specifically. So let me get this in a normal way here. And never mind. If you have questions about that, if it doesn't work, just bring it up next meeting. So that's a lot, but I will break it down for you guys in just the 3 steps. Step 1, add this code to your server script service, which is this thing over here. Right here, server script service. You put your leaderboard script. This is what you want in your leaderboard script. Step 2, and this is all you have to do, is add this code right here to the top of your, I'll grab the sword here. Add this to the top of your sword script. Boom. And then under the take damage, add this to your sword script. Boom. And then step 3, if you want to go that far, is type in CNP Royale shops and just look through the comments on how to change this properly. Does anyone have any questions about any of that? Because that's all the stuff for today and next session. We good? We good? Everybody watching had a fabulous time. Cool, cool, cool. So I guess everyone just get to work on the server script service part, and I'll help everyone one by one as needed. And remember, we do have a catch-up session on Thursday at 3:30. If you are behind, I will be there to help you out directly. But mostly everyone in this call is on schedule. So we're just going to be mostly helping people out in the Thursday session too. So which is why I brought this all at once. So everyone get started. Start at step 1. Look at your leader stats code. Put it into your server script service script. And if you have any other questions, just ask me. Cool. So get started on that.
Wait, how can you test if, like, I got a pistol? How can I test if it actually does damage?
So, I used, for an example, I just used a random tool. I was thinking you'd give me, like, a spoon as a random tool instead of an actual weapon. But, actually, yeah, I could even change it to that. I need to look up spoon tool, though. So, to test if it works online, the only guns that work online are the guns by Roblox. All the melee weapons work perfectly fine online, but the thing is, when you have your gun, it's the bullet which is actually doing the damage. So they need an instance of that bullet on their server. And actually, while everyone's working on this, I can show you what happens if you use something that isn't a Roblox weapon. So I'll take the pistol.
Can you find it? I can't find a pistol by Roblox. Oh, never mind. Found it.
Or even just type in, if you're looking for weapon ideas, just type in by Roblox, and you will see all their official stuff. So like there's the sniper rifle I used in there, the rocket launcher, the crossbow, grenade launcher, and more. Not much more, but still more. So we'll take this handgun or what I was gonna say, machine gun. I'll throw a bunch of weapons here. You guys can just use this as background noise. Don't worry about. Even ones that Roblox say are quality products don't work online. So we'll take, I don't know, I didn't expect this to be, I'll just say gun.
Here.
Right here, this blue hyper laser thing you'll see a lot. And in this, I can actually do something to test multiplayer. You can go to this test tab and start a local server for 2 players. The issue with this, it takes about like 6 minutes to load properly. But once this is done, I will have a screen. On one side of my screen be one player, other side of my screen be the other player. And third screen being just what I was gonna say, a neutral party. Oh, and actually it's already charged up. So where did I put those weapons? Over on the red side, yeah. And then over here's my other guy. I'll put him over here too. And there they both are. And here's the weird thing. If we take this, which one is it? This one maybe? No, that's the one where you can see the world. There we go. I'll get rid of the things I don't need here just to show the example. If we have both our players here, I'll just make it a pure split screen view here. Both our players, and I take the gun, this one right here, I shoot him. Oh, it doesn't even do that for this gun. What about this one? Okay, the incinerator beam also works. Okay, I have to add worse guns to this. That's annoying. I thought it would be perfectly easy to show an example. Just keep on working on your thing. This one right here on the gun giver. The one didn't work at all. So I thought it would at least do damage on one side. The incinerator gun works because it just instantly eliminates a player. But if I take this one off this gun giver here, I know specifically this one doesn't work, which is annoying because it's the first thing that comes up when you type in gun. And this time it should load faster since it's already got most of the data preloaded here. So we've got our server one where we can look around, and then we should have in a second here pop up both our players. Or sometimes it just decides to not work, which I believe this may be one of those instances. Yeah, let's clean that up. And then try that one more time here. And while this is loading, one check on everybody. Max, where are you at with things?
I didn't quite understand.
What part?
A lot.
Okay.
Really,
Do you remember what the first step is here?
no.
Okay. Do you remember what time I said the catch-up session was?
Thursday.
Thursday at what time?
I don't remember.
3:30. I'd like you to write that down. Could you grab a piece of paper and write down Thursday at 3:30? And yeah, sometimes these just don't work at all, which is just a bit annoying. I didn't show you guys this local server thing because it only works when it wants to, as you're seeing. But let me save the file. Yeah, this is an ICC project called Jonathan, what's your question?
Yeah, it was fun. I just tried to save again, and I have the same exact problem.
Okay, could you share your screen real quick?
Let me get Zoom up on my computer.
Gotcha. And then I can guess Kyle, Abby, Tostin, you guys are inputting the code. If you have any trouble with that, tell me.
I was testing one of my pistols, and now it's not showing an arrow, so I can't get out, and I can't press stop out of my game, so I can't do anything else except. But
could you repeat what you said again?
Okay. It stopped. I can't move. I don't have a mouse on. It doesn't have the mouse pointer on my screen, so I can't press anything. So I can't get out.
Out of your scripting?
Yeah, out of my I was just testing one of the pistols quickly and seeing if it actually shot.
Oh, got it. And your mouse cursor disappeared. What you can do for that is what I always do is I just click the Windows button, and then you get your mouse cursor back, no matter where you are.
Oh.
And Jonathan, I'll put you in. I'm still trying to get on my screen here, even though you can't see it anymore, the multiplayer thing working. But basically what happens is on one screen, the person's dead, but on that person's screen, they're still alive. So you then just kind of have an invisible player problem, and the elimination doesn't even count. Authentication failed. I don't know why I have to authenticate for a test. Okay, so Johnny, can you share your screen? Oh, I think I have to adjust the settings for that real quick. Yeah, there you go. Now you can try to join in. Jonathan has started screen sharing.
Okay.
Actually, I don't even know why I'm screen sharing when you're like, okay, so failed to save to the data model. So click File and click Save As, Save to File As. Okay, so you've got it Fortnite, click Save. Yeah, do you want to replace it? Failed to save to to the data model. So what did you add to this project recently?
I added this.
Okay, helicopter base.
And,
Okay,
and
so
my mouse is
would
having
it be
a
the worst thing in the world to just close out of this and reopen the older save?
Probably. Yes, probably.
What would be so bad about it?
Oh, I just wrote out the script because for some reason I
Oh,
couldn't
you
copy
did write
it.
this script?
Yeah, I couldn't copy it for some reason, so I just wrote it out.
Yeah, that's the elimination script.
Yeah, and the other
Okay.
one's supposed to be on the sword, right? Or,
Yeah, the other one you can copy, the first one you can't. So what you should do, take that, go to your elimination script, copy that, close out of your project, open it up again, make that, put one in server script service and paste it.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, you're mostly good. Copy all of that.
Wait,
Hold on. Click that select all. So right click, click select all. Okay.
Yeah.
Select all, then copy it, and then close out of your project, reload it where it still was saving, and then paste this in. So don't save changes to Fortnite. Load in Roblox again. I mean Roblox Studio again, and then that should be good. I'm gonna answer Kyle's question at this point. Yes, Kyle?
I thought I knew how to do the terrain editor, but it was a different thing, I think.
Okay.
So.
You want me to give a quick example of that?
Yeah.
Awesome. I was gonna say all your faces have disappeared except for Kyle's. I was just gonna say, Max, real quick, what are you doing? I'm gonna try to get people on track here before.
I'm in Roblox.
What did you say?
I'm in Roblox.
Okay. What step are you on for the Google Classroom? These two things, the leader stats code and the sword code.
I didn't know what they were. I forgot what they were.
Okay. So what you want to do is, let me share screen here, and then I can show that and then answer Kyle's question. And actually, before that, this is finally loading, so I'm gonna let that happen. There we go. We have our 2 players, which are just heads, but we're gonna ignore that. I have the invisible sword. Okay, they're loading in piece by piece. Let's see if respawning will make anything work here. So I can show you guys about the guns not working. Yeah, I'll show the guns not working, the steps again, and then terrain editor. And I think we'll be out of time here.
Can I leave the meeting?
Okay. It doesn't have anything. No, Max, we're starting with the, I'm about to show you the step 1. Okay, so Max, you've really got to pay attention here. Here's what you've got to do. And if you rewatch this video, I've reiterated this quite a bit. If we go to Explorer, right here, there's something called server storage. You need to add a script. Oh wait, I'm sorry, not server storage. Whoop. Server script service. You need to add a script, and you can name this whatever you want, but calling it leaderboard script makes the most sense. And you need to go to the Google Classroom right here.
I wasn't at where I was supposed to be yet.
Yeah, so you're behind, you didn't submit last week's project?
Yeah.
Okay. For that, do you remember how to watch the videos on Google Classroom?
Yes.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to watch last week's videos and this video. And I just want to show you what the gist of this video is. So I can show you what step 1 for this week is here. So right here, we have the code for the script and server script service. You need to type this out into here. I need to put back my Explorer here. And it will come out looking like this. Okay, make sure you pay attention to this, Max. Okay. What I was gonna say is we need this. It doesn't matter, but it will go in here, and then right here you can copy and paste for the sword script. You go to the not starter pack, the workspace, wherever your sword is in server storage here. We go to sword script, and then you place this at the top of the script. Right here, you copy and paste it in the top of the script, and then you take this and put it under this take damage thing. So we need to look down for where it says take damage right here, and then we will paste that here. Okay, so our 3 steps, Max, is 1, go to server script service and add a script that is this one right here. Then 2, and these are the only 2 steps you need to know, is go to the sword script and put in this code where it tells you to here. Okay? Are you good on that, Max? Are you good on that, Max?
Yes.
Okay. So I would get started on going to server script service and start adding the script like everyone else has been starting. Okay, so I'm gonna answer Kyle's question about terrain editor, then I'll help you out, Abby. So for terrain editor, you're going to start with a flat terrain. It's not gonna look as wonderfully beautiful as my terrain I'm about to destroy. And actually, Max, what's your question?
Can I leave the meeting?
Well, I'm about to show this. I mean, you can to work specifically on your script, but yeah, I mean, you need to stay here for the next 3 minutes, and then everyone else free to go. All right, but for now, during this time, while I can still help you, Max, this is when you need to start focusing on putting in the code that I just told you. Okay. So anyway, ignore what I'm doing here because this is just a thing to get rid of the entire terrain I have, so I can give you an example of how to make terrain from scratch. So I'm gonna just delete. It's flat, and then I guess I will start with the paint tool. So in terrain editor, in the bottom right here, you need to go to this edit button. And from here, we have the add tool, subtract tool, and paint tool. Those are the 3 most important ones you've got to focus on. So for paint, I'll start with that because I need to use it. It keeps everything at the same level, but see how like this is rock, this is volcanic rock, this is asphalt. You can select your material you paint with here. Say I want to paint this with grass, and then you can change the size of how big you want to paint. And I can take it like a paintbrush and whoosh, 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 turn all that terrain into a different terrain. I'm not changing the size of it. If I wanted to change the size of something, I'd go to the add tool. And say I want to make a lava hill, I go to the cracked lava terrain, and I add to here by just drawing like so. And if I want to get rid of something, I use this subtract tool, and I can make holes in the ground because I'm a terrible person to my players. I was gonna say, and yeah, you can use add, sandstone, whoosh, you can make a little guy in the sky, like his name is Geralt, because I've become obsessed with that name now. Hopefully his face looks good. Good enough for me. This is your monument to your creator of this land, Waluigi, who's going to have a fedora now, except still has the L. There we go. So that's the basics of Terrain Editor. These add, subtract, and paint tools are the gist of what you need to know. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay,
Wait,
and one
for the terrain editor, would I just like add random mountains for this?
you can, or you don't have to at all. If you want more knowledge on the Terrain Editor, you can go to the assignment, and right here as extra resources, I have an environment and terrain tools article by Roblox for you to check out. And it guides you through every bit of the terrain tool, including making stuff, making squares. You can read over this. But again, the most important ones are just the add, subtract, and paint tools.
Wait, how do you add water? I want to have some pools.
Water, it's just one of these materials as well. And you can even make floating water that your character can just swim across. I've seen some very interesting Roblox projects as my time as sensei. And then I'll answer Abby's question. Abby, what's your question?
I have 2 questions.
Awesome, 2 questions.
So first of all, should I share screen?
Yes. Oh, Jonathan, how did loading up the project again work for you?
The copy thing just disappeared.
That is not fun.
No, yeah, it's not.
Do you mostly have it typed out?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I keep on working on it. That looks almost perfect. Is it working, Abby?
No.
It's not working. Well, okay, right there. You have local function on player Geon instead of join. And then secondly, you don't have the connect event at the bottom to actually make this function run. So look at the Google Classroom. I really hope I didn't crop that out of the image because that's very important. Right at the bottom, line 23, it says game.players.player added connect on player join. Add that and this should work. I'm gonna scan over it.
And
other than that, it looks perfect to me at first glance. So.
And another thing, when I start the game, everything is named infected sometimes.
Yeah, so that I think is, did you add zombies to this? Did you add something from the toolbox?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you added stuff from the toolbox, sometimes there's scripts which are annoying and just do stuff like that. So everything's name becomes infected. Like.
Yeah. And
okay.
then my keys can't open the doors.
Oh.
Its name is now infected.
Oh, because its name is infected.
Wait, how do you delete water? I added a bunch of random water and I added too much.
You can use the subtract tool.
Wait, but I'm trying, but it's only like connecting to the ground.
Yeah, move your camera around a bit for better angles.
Okay. Oh no.
And then what was I gonna say? Tostin, is everything good with you? What step are you at? What are you working on?
I'm almost done with the first one.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Yeah. I did a lot of explaining this thing, so I'm gonna give you guys 15-20 minutes for questions, but the next session will be all questions, so that's good to know. So can you check your workspace for me, Abby? And when did this happen that everything's named infected?
It happened a few times, but then it got fixed, and now it's happening again.
So that zombie right in front of you, that's a drooling zombie, though. That shouldn't affect anything. That's by Roblox. Here, can you stop the game and then see what everything is called? Let me test something out of my Roblox, see if I can find all of a certain. Yes, awesome. Okay. and everything's named infected even when you stop the game. Oh, well, can you stop the game real quick? Okay, everything's back to normal. Good. Can I borrow remote control from you?
Some are named infected.
I want to borrow. Some stay named infected. That's frustrating. Well, I'm gonna look in here. If you type in script, like so, if I actually clicked that, yeah, script, you should get a path of all these scripts. And do you have an instance of this project that you saved before this all happened? Huh.
No.
Okay. What was I gonna say? It's usually a script that you can just point out like, this isn't worth it. Like, what's this? This called infected canon model. What is this object named infected? We can figure that out in a second, but let me open up this infected script here. Or the script that is named infected. Also, does anyone have any other questions? Aha, function infector right here. This is a script that was on one of these objects, and we can just read this to break it down. It's humanoids finding a bunch of objects, cloning them, and calling them infected. So what we want to do is we want to take all these infected scripts and delete them, purge them from your game. It may take a while, but do that, and then the code should stop running because the code no longer exists. Yeah, so I'll give you back control. That's the only thing I could think of for fixing that. If problem still persists on Wednesday, we can take a look at it then. But yeah, this is why I say be careful when you add things from the toolbox, because there are trolls who do this, and it's better to notice something immediately and click the undo button than end up with something like this. So does anyone have any other questions, or are we good till Wednesday? No, I'll take that as we're good. Max, Johnny, Kyle, well, formerly Kyle, now known as Shrunk, Tostin, Johnny, Abby, I will see you all on Wednesday. If you need any help, ask in Google Classroom. Bye.
Bye.
And this video will be up, so there's that. Bye.
Bye.